Hello everybody, welcome back. It has been a while, a little over a week I think. As you guys know, I recently moved from Iowa to Oregon, and I started working here this last week on Monday. It's now Saturday. So Monday through Friday I was at work, and I normally used to do these videos at night when everybody in the house would go to sleep. But I have to be in bed now because I'm working from like 8 to 5, which is good hours, Monday through Friday. So that's good that I'm working. I feel good about that. Have some money coming in. Um, Again, so everything's getting settled here. That's good. But it does limit when I can do videos because now I have to be in bed early, so I can't do them at night like I was before. So I got to either do them on Friday or Saturday when I can stay up a little later after everybody's gone to bed. So there will be less videos because I'm going to have to wait. And then, when the weekend comes, I'll probably pop some out if I've got anything to go over. And again, the 3D printing projects are going well. I actually just got a storage unit here so I can get some of the stuff out of the rooms I'm staying in and start working on some new projects. And I'm hoping, now that I've got this unit, I can start doing some bigger stuff so that I can put them in there for storage instead of keeping them in the house. So that's a good thing. So hopefully more projects coming up. I'll just have less time to work on them, so it'll take me a little longer still. But right now, it's a good day. 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I think, finally, wave one of Nacelle's Star Trek action figures came out, 7 figures. Been waiting about a year, a little over a year, I think, for the release. They had a bunch of problems with quality control. They didn't like the way the figures looked, and then there was problems with packaging, and so it was waiting, but they finally got here. They looked pretty good. I'll go through them. I'll show you guys first what they look like inside the packages, and then I have a set that is out of the packages already, and so I'll show you a closer look at them out of the packaging. I'm not going to go over all of the stuff that they came with, just because there's so much of it. But the bigger, more important stuff that came with them, the accessories and stuff, I'll go over those. I'll show you guys those. But a lot of it is just like different hands. And the video would be like 4 hours long if I went through everything. So I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can, but still give you guys a good look at everything like that. So I was really excited for these. The next 3 waves, they've already kind of told us what we're getting. They all look really good. Wave 2 is the only one that's pre-ordered right now. And I have pre-ordered that one both so that I can show packaging and open a set. So we'll go over that one whenever it gets here. Who knows how long that one's going to be. But at least these are out now. So we'll go over those. And hopefully you guys enjoy these, because I think actually they look pretty good for larger action figures. Of course, I do prefer smaller ones. But I think they look pretty good. So we'll take a look at them. And hopefully there's not too much glare on the plastic packaging, but I guess since I'm going to be showing you guys up close, it doesn't really matter. But here is Captain Rachel Garrett in her packaging. And yeah, there is some glare off the camera, so I'll just get through these quick. But obviously she's got some hands there, and face change, head change, communicator, stuff like that. And then the back, you got her on there, and then picture of the other action figures. So a little synopsis of, who she is and all that stuff. So Rachel Garrett there. And then we have Mirror Universe Captain Archer and his packaging. Some of his accessories there. And then him on the back. I'm sorry, I guess sides. So they've got close up on one side and the same thing on the other side. So same thing with Captain Garrett. All right, everybody's favorite baddie, Mr. Wayoon, and his crazy smile. There's also a head change there, and some Nacelle white in a container, and some chopsticks. Mr. Wayoon on the back. Those guys, of course, and then him on the sides again. Looks pretty good, right? And then Captain Hikaru Sulu from Star Trek 6. His packaging, his teacup there, communicators again, bunch of hands. Side there. There he is on the back. Little synopsis. Did I say Star Trek 5? Star Trek 6. And then Captain Jellicoe. The word Jellicoe. He's got the fish tank back there that he didn't like. Some of his props. He is on the side there. On the back with his little synopsis. All right. And then the big controversy. Mr. Tuvix. That was a really bad glare from the camera. The bad thing about figures in plastic. Has little accessories. There he is. Mr. Tuvix. Little Voyager synopsis. Looks pretty good. Alright, and then Peter Preston. A poor little engineering kid that ended up dying in Star Trek 3. 2. Sorry. Bunch of hands for him. Bunch of engineering equipment. Base change. There he is. The nice thing about these is a couple of them are a little too short to fit in with the Star Trek 2 Diamond Select action figures that I just did my bridge replica of, but they are pretty close, so it doesn't look bad. Some of them are actually tall enough that they're the same size, like Captain Sulu, Captain Jellicoe. But Peter fits in pretty well, so. And we got Valkyris, the biggest box of all, with all of her Genesis torpedo back there. She was in the movie for, what, 2 minutes? And then her Genesis device here. There she is. She's pretty cool looking Klingon lady, though. This is a big one because her accessories are so stinking big, but it's not a bad thing. Alright. Put these back in the box real quick so we can take a look at the open ones. Alright. So we'll start with Peter. Peter Preston. We've got good movement, lots of articulation. So like the feet move, the knees move, the legs up here, the hip move, waist moves, obviously the head moves, and then the arms here move, and then the arms at they twist down here as well as are jointed. They do move. It's just really tight because they're new, but they not only spin, but they go up and down, and then the hands move. So they've got good articulation, and then a little bit of movement, the shoulder up and down as well. So easy to put in a bunch of different poses and positions. There's it on the back. Little shoes. Now, these guys, unfortunately, for some reason, don't really like to stand up very well. Um, I am having some trouble getting them to not want to fall down. They do have a little hole on the bottom of the feet for a stand, but they did not come with stands. So I am in the process of 3D printing some stands for these guys, just basic little rectangular stands with a pin on them that'll fit in that hole in their feet so that I can display them without them falling over. Kind of disappointing that they didn't come with stands with all the accessories that they came with, but luckily I got a 3D printer and I can do all that. Now, Captain Garrett, this is a pretty cool one. I always was kind of hoping that they'd make an action figure of her, obviously, and her little uniform. Differences: no belt and no collared shirt like the other uniforms. The little differences they tried to make to show she was a little later on, I guess. But she looks pretty good. The one thing I did notice that I don't know if you guys can really tell, I'll show you on one of the other figures, but the only problem really I've seen is difference in colors between faces and the necks on some of these guys. Like Archer, you can really tell. So Archer, see his face compared to like his neck? It's his neck is like a lighter skin tone than his face and his hands. So it kind of looks like he's got a bunch of makeup on. I don't know. A couple of the figures are like that. And I don't know why they didn't match it better, but just yeah, didn't match up. But there's Mere Archer for you. I mean, all in all, they're really good. Like the details really good, you know, and the accessories are great. I think that's why a lot of people are getting them, is for the accessories. But yeah, odd that they couldn't match paint colors a little better. I changed the face on my Wayoon. He came with the smiling face, and I changed it to this one just because it was a little more normal. And the one thing I did notice, number one, his head didn't really want to go on all that easy, and the paint on his neck started to scratch off really easily. So if you guys get these, I would say be careful changing them, because for some reason, again, maybe it's just tight because it's a new figure and the head didn't want to pop on, but I had to really press on it to get the new one on. The old one, or the original one, came off easily, but the new one did not want to go on. I was really afraid I was going to break the neck pin. It's just like a pin with a ball on it, like a lot of them are, that it just snaps on. It's a fine design. It's just for some reason he didn't want to go on, and the paint at the top of his neck really did start to scratch off pretty easily. Luckily, his face covers it and you can't see it, but that was kind of disappointing too, that the paint started scratching off so easily. All right, Mr. Tuvix here. Looks pretty good also. See his eyes there. His little outfit. And his long hair in the back. Not the best attachment job, but it's fine. What it is. All right, Captain Jellicoe. He's kind of the same boat, not as bad as Archer, but you can tell that his face is a different shade than his neck. Again, he's a little lighter. God, I don't know, it looks like really bad bags under his eyes, but paint on the faces of some of these is kind of heavy, like on him and on her. I understand she, you know, the just really rosy cheeks. but her face seems to match her neck paint a little better, whereas his not quite as much. But you know, the basic next gen uniform looks pretty good. Communicator looks good. And Valkyris. Valkyris looks pretty good. She's got her neck's a little short with that big necklace thing on. Her hair looks pretty cool though. Little headdress, and then her flexible clothes look nice. But she looks pretty decent. I think she matches fairly well for the skin tones. Not that you can really see much of her neck, but and of course, last but not least, Captain Sulu, again in the same boat a little bit. The darker face than the neck color, but not quite as noticeable on him again as Archer. But uniform looks good. Of course, you guys that watch my channel know these are definitely my favorite uniforms. I just always liked that they were all pretty similar and they matched and they looked good. I just liked these. But he looks pretty good, I think. Alright, there they are. Take a look at the accessories now. Some of them anyway. So we'll look at Valkyris's accessories here first because she's got the biggest ones. Now, of course, I'm not going to show all the hands, like I said. And I think this little black thing is supposed to be like a, maybe like a remote for the Genesis device, but there's absolutely nothing on it. It's just like a little black rectangle, but I'm assuming that's what it is. There's nothing on the boxes that tell you what any of the accessories are either, that like Playmates used to do. But the Klingon disruptor looks pretty good. Nice coloring, a lot of detail in it. That's cool. She came with a batleth. Obviously, she never had a batleth in the movie, but I guess they had to give her something because the Genesis device wasn't enough, so they gave her a batleth. And she didn't use this either. And then, of course, a Klingon tricorder, which actually looks really good. I really like the coloring on it. But again, didn't actually have one of these in the movie either, but some of the other Klingons did. So there's those. Now, the Genesis device. I don't think I'm missing anything on this device. It looks nice. This is loose, and I don't know if it's just because they assembled it in two pieces. I haven't found that it like pops down and lays down inside or anything, so I don't think I'm missing anything. This button, it does move, you can push it, and this little thing here does rotate so that you can move it around. You can see it with my fingers in a way, but yeah, that does rotate. But really good. Looks nice. A lot of detail on this stuff. I don't know if you can see the screen down there really, but there's a lot of detail on this, so that's nice. The Genesis torpedo comes in its case. The problem with this is there's no bottom on it. I don't know why they didn't just make a bottom. They made a top so that it wouldn't fall out, but they did not. So, I mean, obviously you'd have it sitting on a table or something, but Would have been kind of nice if it was contained, but the torpedo itself looks really nice. Clear plastic with a bunch of parts and pieces inside and different colors. It looks really, really nice. Heavy. There's a lot of plastic in there, but really, really good detail. Really nice color. And like I said, I think a lot of people are getting these action figures. No, of course, for the figures too, but because the accessories were so cool, and obviously the case has a lot of detail and, as you saw, opens and closes. But I think that pretty cool. Okay, moving along so I don't take up everybody's time. Tuvix, again, a bunch of hands. His little flower that he had, that he was growing in a little case. Awesome. Really cool. Nice clear plastic. Again, nice accessory. A little travel carrying case with a plastic strap on it. Nice. Head change, angry Tuvix, worried Tuvix. I don't know. Maybe that's when they were going to tell him they were separating him. But there's his head change. And he comes with, if I can get him out of here, there's tiny. Comes with a Type 2 phaser, a lot of detail on it, curved like the Voyager ones and later Next Gen. And then a little tricorder, which is nice. Doesn't have as much detail as some of the tricorders, doesn't look quite like a Voyager tricorder, but still not bad. Okay. Next we got Mirror Archer. So he comes with a 23rd century tricorder, when obviously they went aboard the Defiant, not from Deep Space Nine. He comes with glass with alcohol in it. Forgive me, I don't remember what alcohol they were drinking. And then a glass with some coming out of it, wine glass. No bottle. Oh yes, there is a bottle, I'm sorry. 23rd century phaser, obviously from the Defiant. Bunch of hands. Another glass, which just has some liquid. The bottle of alcohol with a hole in the top that connects to the other glass, so it looks like you're pouring it out into the glass, which is why it's coming out of that cup. And then there's a second little round glass. And then you've also got NX-01 or ISS-01 maybe. Pistol, phase pistol. And then a Mirror Universe knife. And an NX-01 communicator. Open, obviously. And then, of course, like 6 different hands. Collectors or toy makers definitely like to make a bunch of hands for hand changes. Don't know that I've ever changed a hand on any of these, but you've got the option. Alright, now Wayoon comes with a little Nacelle white container. It does not open or anything, it's just solid plastic, so don't try to open it. His headset for his eye that he used to control the ships. A bunch of different hands, obviously. Here's smiling Wayoon's face. I just thought it was kind of creepy, so I put the other head. I just like the other one better. He's got like 3 different bottles of Nacelle white. I'm not going to show all of them, but Nacelle white tubes. He comes with a couple like skewers, chopsticks that have like food on it. This one's got food, the other one's just a regular chopstick, skewer, whatever. And then a plate of pizza, sampling the human cuisine. These things are so small, I'm always afraid I'm going to drop them and lose them. Alright, now we got Captain Jellicoe and the fish tank. Nice size, pretty big. The glare, I don't know if you can tell, but Livingston's up there at the top, floating along with his coral. And it is rounded on both sides. And he comes with the pictures that were in that episode, the little paintings. And then a book, Cardassians, Customs and Etiquette, for his research. Comes with a pad, pretty nice detail, front pad. Back of pad, looks pretty good. And a bunch of hands again, of course. And then a Type 2 TNG phaser, not a dolphin nose phaser, but pretty good detail on that guy. Alright, now Peters are tiny. He comes with like 4 different hands, a bunch of really small tools. Okay, so the engineering tools here, obviously. It's super small, you can't really see the detail on them, but a couple engineering tools. He comes with his oxygen mask, which is pretty cool. Nice clear plastic oxygen mask that fits on his face. Don't know if you guys can see that, it's hard to see, I'm sorry. But nice looking, nice detail. And it punches in, it does attach to his outfit. Star Trek 2 big old tricorder. Communicator. Nice phaser there. And then his head after he gets blown up. Poor guy. Just burns and blood. Poor Peter. Okay. Garrett. She again has a bunch of hand changes. She also has a pad, which is a TNG pad, not from her era. Her head change after she gets her metal shrapnel in it. Poor lady. So we'll call that a deadhead. Alright, and she's obviously got a phaser from her time. A tricorder, or I'm sorry, a communicator from her time. And then a next gen 24th century phaser as well. Okay. And again, last but not least, Garusulu. Again, a bunch of hands. So we've got a communicator. My gosh, a communicator from Star Trek 6. So a newer version. And then they also did a communicator from Star Trek 2-3 so that you could use him for Sulu in excuse me, before or after. So again, they included a Star Trek 2-3 phaser, a later Assault Star Trek 6 phaser, which looks pretty cool, pretty accurate to the Assault phasers. I'm going to show you this hand. So obviously he's got his hand with his teacup there, USS Excelsior, with his tea inside. And then this is a flap to go on if he pulls it down. So on him, this piece does come out. Now, I'm not going to do it because, like I said, I don't know what the paint situation is like, if it's going to scratch the paint if I try to take that off, like the neck. But that one pops out, and then this one would pop in, and he'd have his flap on his shirt open. So that's kind of a cool little touch. But yeah, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to scratch it up. So guys, that is the figures in the packages, out of the packages, and the majority of their accessories. Of course, like I said, not all of the hands, because a hand is a hand is a hand, and we'd be here all night long. So I overall think these are pretty good. The likenesses of the people are really good. The attention to the detail in the accessories is really good. Yeah, they did make up some stuff, that wasn't actually with some of them, but I think it all matches. I mean, Valkyrie's stuff is all Klingon. I think, giving her that much stuff, really, because she didn't have that much, is actually kind of nice of them, that they came up with stuff for some of these guys, that didn't have that much. But the Genesis torpedo, the activation device, all that stuff, the fish tank, Tuvix's stuff, his little flower. I think they did a really good job on the accessories. The clothing and the uniforms and the outfits are all great. The paint jobs are really good. Again, my only concerns with them really are number one, they don't like to stand up very well. Some of them do, some of them don't. It would have been nice if they had had stands. Number two, some of the necks, the paint doesn't match the heads and the hands, and I'm not sure what that's about. She's not going to stand up, so we'll get some stands made, and then they'll be fine. But really, those are my only concerns from looking at these. Really, are those two things. But I think they did a good job. I think they did a good job on recreating them. I haven't seen like any bad paint jobs on mine where anything's messed up. Nothing like that. These guys just, they don't want to stand up very well. It's like they're a little too tall, a little too top heavy. But yeah, they just, for all the articulation, you just can't seem to get them to want to stand up properly. Poor guys. But we'll get some stands made. Waited a long time for these. Really excited they're finally out. They do look really good. They were on the spendy side. I think they were close to $30 each. And of course, I mean, the figures are about 6 inches. No, I'm not going to say that. They're about 6.5 to 7 inches. Because, like I said, some of them are the same size as the Diamond Select figures. So, like Mirror Archer, same size as the Diamond Select height-wise. Tuvix is, and Captain Jellicoe is. The others are a little shorter, but of course, people are different heights. So that's just, I mean, I don't think there's a problem. You could completely, I think, display these with the 7-inch Diamond Select figures and be totally okay. Whether it's you've got the TNG ones, or the original figure one series, or whatever you want to use them in. I don't remember if they made Krug for Diamond Select. I'd have to go look at that if you want to. Maybe Nacelle's going to make Krug eventually. Who knows? Of course, they did in Playmates, and he looks cool, but he's going to be too short. But for Valkyrie. And then who knows? Maybe they'll make, I don't remember his name, the commander that Yar ended up falling in love with. But he'd be a cool one to make, to go along with Captain Garrett. But yeah, there they are. And so we're going to be waiting on wave 2 here. Seems like the girls don't want to stand up. Lazy girls. That's it. You guys, as always, I ask. Most people don't say anything, but if you guys plan on getting these, or if you've got them, what you thought about them, if you had any issues that I didn't mention, or if there was things about them that you liked that I didn't, let me know. I'm always curious and interested. Maybe I'm looking at it from a different perspective and somebody's got a different idea on it all. But yeah, I really do like them. Like I said, this was a long time coming, and I'm not unhappy with the scale. I can display them nicely and it'll be cool. Of course, they're not going to fit in with the smaller stuff that I do, a lot of the 375s and 5.5s, but they are making a Valaris, and I think she's in the next wave 2 Valaris. So I am going to get an extra Valaris so that I can put Valaris's head on the Diamond Select Savix body, so that it'll match, because again, size-wise, they are a little different. Even though they're close in height, these are a lot more realistic looking, so they're more narrow. Their faces, their heads are smaller. The Diamond Select ones, now that I look at them, they're a little over exaggerated, and these are not. They're a lot more realistic to people, actual people, and they used a much different red paint. So these are much more of a dark, like burgundy color on these guys for the movie figures for like Sulu and her. And the other ones are quite a bit more red, brighter red, and so they don't match. So I'm gonna make her to match those guys, and then I think I'm gonna do the same thing. They're gonna make Savick with the, what was her name? Terry Curtis? Was that her name? My goodness, I don't remember. The second Savick who played in Star Trek 3 and 4. They're making her as well, so I might do the same thing with that one. So I've got her so I can interchange them, just because I built a model for that, so it'd be nice to have figures for that. If I hadn't built that bridge, I probably wouldn't bother with all that, but now that I have it, it's kind of cool to change it and do that. And, you know, I might build another size bridge for those movie figures. That was obviously Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3's bridge. If you haven't watched that video, it's on my channel. I 3D printed the bridge, but I might do, you know, like the bridge from Star Trek 5 or Star Trek 6, because they were quite different than the original one after they rebuilt the Enterprise. But who knows? But that's it. I'm going to wrap it up because this is already a long one. I apologize for that, but there were a lot of figures to get through and a lot of accessories and a lot of stuff to cover. So, and I've just been pretty excited with these figures, and I don't have anybody to share them with because none of my friends like Star Trek and none of my friends like collecting things, and my parents have no idea that I got them. So I just keep it to myself in my room and then share it with you guys. So there they are. I'll get the stands made. One more thing though, before we go, they did finally release another Masters of the Universe Origins pre-order today for a few things. So they're coming out with 4 more 200X Origins figures: Orko, Tila, Merman, and the Roboto Deluxe, which I have talked about in videos before, those 4, so I ordered those today. And then they came out with Many Faces sketchbook series on Target. Unfortunately, it was sold out, so I am on the waiting list to get an email when it's back in stock so I can reorder that. So those 4 for sure, and then the other one are coming, so I will have those to do. And again, I have been slowly working on my 3D projects of the Brig and the Klingon fighter and the Type 7 shuttle and the turbo lifts for the Enterprise refit bridge, and another little Star Trek project that I started that's almost finished. And so I'm not going to tell you guys what that is. I'll just show you in a video. But there is one more project that's almost done. I just got a little bit more painting I need to do, and then that's completed. All of the pieces are printed out. About 98% of it's printed, so I'll do that here soon. So it might be a while before I get another video out with the work schedule, and then the fact that nothing's really shipping and I don't have anything done. So I will try to get up a video as soon as I can, just because I like giving you guys stuff to watch. I like sharing it with people that actually like it and listen. Even though you might not be right in front of me, I appreciate it. As always, if you can like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. And good night.